All right, guys, welcome back and good morning. And we are getting started with week two. Um, Last week, I have covered most of it about Java introduction and how to lay out basic variables and loops and all the stuff. Here is the main game starting about object-oriented programming. And it is very, very, very important in programming career. If you have to scale up, you need to understand um, about classes, about objects. Everything is revolving around classes and objects, and that's what we will be discussing today, right? um, Emmanuel, my voice is echoing. Is it for everyone? Is it echoing for everyone, or it's just for Emmanuel?
No,
It's
it's
fine
okay.
now.
It's fine.
Okay, all right. Good stuff. So we are going to talk about the classes, and let's go and discuss about it. Whatever doubts you have in your mind, let's clear it off. I see that there are some questions around. By the way, I just got to know from Sunat. Congrats, Sunat. He made it to permanent TSB. He was there with me in the automation training in my last batch, but because of a medical reason, he couldn't continue. And he's joining back in this batch. But I think whatever 2 months of training, whatever he got from me, I believe that helped him. So, as soon as we want to talk about your interview process, because
Yeah.
a lot of them will be interested to know how did you made it to permanent TSB?
Yeah, sure. It was a three-round process. So first was kind of they are shortlisting the profile. So
Okay.
I have 8 years of experience in the banking field. So their requirements is also in the banking. So my profile was exactly matching for them.
Very
And
good.
second round and third round was purely a technical round.
Mm-hmm.
So they are mainly asking for they asked little bit about the Selenium and Java,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked on Unix shell scripting, so they asked little bit about Unix
Okay.
questions. Then mainly they are looking for a continuous integration development. About ODC tool, the different kinds of tool like Jenkins and all this. So I worked on Jenkins tool.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenkins, they have asked a couple of questions. Then Jira tool, specifically relating to the Agile
Yeah,
methodology. So
sure.
how we are, end-to-end process of how we are making the project Agile, and how in your project Agile methodology followed, and all those kind of questions.
Good.
And third round, there was one more round of technical round. Plus, there is one uh, questions in kind of star methodology questions. Kind of they will ask you a couple of questions in relation to your to understand your personality. So
Okay.
we need to answer them with the method of star. We need to give them a situation, whether you worked in the project, and
Okay.
then you need to tell them what task you have done for that situation, then what action you have done for mitigating that, and what was the end result.
Very
So
good. Very
yeah,
good. Okay.
so that round took almost one hour round. They were managers, and 2-3 people were involved into that.
Very good,
So
Sunat.
yeah, after that, they have shortlisted, and only one position was left. It was a 3-member team. So
Right.
manager they have already selected, senior test analyst they have selected. So this position was for test analyst.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good,
then
Sunat. And regarding automation, what kind of questions they asked you? And
they haven't asked much. They just asked about the framework, how you followed your automation in your project, what kind
whatever
of
you
tools.
learned here in Wisdom QA, you were able to use that in
Yes,
your.
yes, yes, yes. All the Selenium questions, and I just follow the same kind of structure we have created for project.
Very good.
So I just told them that this is how we created
Very good.
these Java and the Selenium commands we have used, and how we handle that polymorphism inheritance, that kind of
Very good.
things I have explained to them. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Really good. Good news, man. And congratulations. I believe that by the end of this batch, you will be more familiar with automation, and you will be able to start in automation in your position. And
Yeah.
for you it will be a great path because you will have, like, full on flexibility to create a framework, whatever you learn
Mhm.
from me,
Mhm.
for API testing, for your front end testing, and then that can you can use that in your company, and you
Yeah.
can really show a good work there.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Perfect, Sunil. That's a very good news. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so let's move on. So you see that there are some questions came in for July for this particular channel, and I see that you guys are practicing. That's good. I have just one request for you guys that start putting in the questions as early as possible in the middle of the week, probably, or in the early week, so that we have more time to discuss. Like I see something coming up like yesterday, the 11th hour. So if possible, you guys can probably put in something little early, right? Okay. Anyways, so let's go to the class, and we will talk about Java classes. I'll be giving you some examples. I have given you some examples as a part of what is class and how exactly it works. Um, Class is a template, as simple as that. Remember this always. For example, if you know Microsoft Word, in Microsoft Word, you have a feature where you can create a template, and then in the template, you can simply automatically fill in the information for different candidates, right? So the main template will be same. You just have to probably change their name or XYZ, whatever. But your template is something that you create once, and then you reuse it over and over again. The concept of class is kind of same. Okay, so class is a template from which individual objects are generated. Now, when you ask yourself a question that why do I care about creating a class, right? So you have to then understand that you have to think from real world situation. For example, you have given a task to manage or maintain the information of multiple people working in a particular team. Okay, you've given the task to manage them, right? Now you can do this. You can create uh, say 10 different people out there. You can create 10 different guys information separately, or you can create one single person and just create a template out of it saying that this team member that I'm trying to, the team member character itself will have certain properties. They will have name, they will have task, they will have location, they will have maybe the skill set, whatever, right? So you can create one template, and I'm giving you a real time example. I'm giving you one template, and then just fill in the information as per your requirement. That's all you need to do. And that's why we are dealing with classes. Here, I'm trying to show you a car situation. All right. I can go ahead and create a car class, and I can define its properties. I can say the car will have brand, model, engine size, and sitting capacity. Now, from this car, we can now generate 100 different other actual car. When I say actual car, these car objects will have actual data. Whatever I'm saying, let's try to do this in practice. All right. Let's go and open up new Java project, and I'll say Java class 2. and I'll say finish. All right, so let's go and I'll say test class package, right? Let's try to create few options, few different examples. I'm going to create an example saying team member, team members, right? That's my class, team member, not members, team member. All right. You see, in this class, I'm not bothering to create any main class. I'm not going to trigger my program from this class. Okay, from this class, I'm not going to trigger my Java program. I'm creating a team member class so that I can hold the information of my team members. Let's go and create we'll say public string name, public string location, public string skill set. All right. I'll just give no, I will not say location. I'll just give a Boolean and I will say remote, or the remote employee or not, right? Boolean remote and public string gender, right? I know that I can store these. I'm looking for these four type of information to be stored inside a team member template. This is what I know. Why do I know that? Because I have given a task to manage the information of a team member, right? Actually, I can give one more thing. No, that will make it a little complicated. Whatever I'm trying to create here, that will make it complicated. Anyway, so these are four different attributes of the team member. I can give the team member class a particular task or a property. A team member class can have a property to simply print out all these information, right? So public void, I'm creating a method here, public void, and I'm going to say print information, print info. And as a part of this, I will just say this out and I will say, I'll just give these people name, all the information, name plus gender plus remote plus skill set, correct? So I am giving all the information, just a simple delimiter to look good when I print. Okay, at the same time, I can give some more attribute properties to it. Public void, say start time, start task, right? And then this is the method that accepts some kind of a timing, right? So you can just give string time and just say sysout start started 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 task at at whatever the time it is plus time, right? And similarly, I can have another task given to it, stop task, and stopped task at a particular time. This is what a team member class is created to perform, right? At this stage, there is no data in this class to store. There is no data. Make sense? Now, I told you I will not be able to run this class. This class is just a template. I will be able to run this class, or I will be able to generate data inside this class, or I will be able to create objects out of this class from a main class. Understand this very, very well. New class, I will say um, team member, team member generator. Sounds good? Team member generator, right? This guy will have a main method. From this guy, I am supposed to generate team members. How? Very simple. I'm going to use a keyword that I have already spoken in the video. The keyword is new keyword. How do I do it? I say team member. Let's give the name Jason. New team member. All right, just that. I am not doing anything else right now. Just that. Okay, let's try to see something. I'll put a breakpoint here in line number 11. Whatever you do in programming, try to go deep and understand what is exactly happening. When I say go deep and understand, I want you to debug. That's the only option that you have to make your understanding uh, get better and better and better. Always. All right. I'm going to run this main method. Main method, I can run it. This method, this class, I cannot run it. You see, right click on this. You see, run as. It shows run configuration. It doesn't show you run as Java. It doesn't show you that. So, team member generator, right click and say run as Java application. So I will not run, I will debug as Java application. And I will just say, let's go and understand this, only this situation. Okay, I'm stopping at here. Now, how do you know what is happening with JSON? I'm trying to create a team member named Jason. Let's hover your mouse on the JSON and let's just see what is happening. Do you see something? Do you see that the JSON team member is accessing all the attributes that you have designed for team member template? Gender, name, remote, skill set. What do they have now? They have some default values assigned by Java. For example, gender, name, and skill set, these are string, which is why it is showing null as their default value. Remote is a Boolean. Default value for Boolean is always false. So you see false. At this stage, what is exactly happening? What is happening is this. you know what is Java Virtual Machine, JVM. Within JVM, when Java is reading this particular line, it is reading this particular line and it figures out the new keyword. As soon as it understands the new keyword, it knows it has to create a memory like so, name the memory location as the name of the object, JSON, and this guy is now having the attributes like name, gender, and so on and so forth, right? So on and so forth. It has got all the properties, attributes to it, which has default value at this stage. Meaning the square box that I'm showing you here is a small little world created for JSON. If you go ahead and you create another guy saying team member, say, I don't know, Susan, right? Equals new team member. Java will read this, create another block, name it as Susan, and simply hold the value there for Susan. You got to understand there is no, so these guys are isolated to each other. There is no connection between this one and this one. There is no connection at all. Please understand this very well. Do you have any question? I mean, I think um, I think I cannot go more simpler than this. Do you think you have any question about this part at all? Give me a shout, please, if you are having any
Um,
confusion.
I just had a question about the other class, the class where you have the template.
Right? What is the question?
I saw that you all the variables were you set them up as public,
Right?
and I don't remember. I think last time last time you said they can be public or private, and then if they are set private, you won't be able to access them.
Yes. So let's discuss this as a part of access modifier,
Okay.
and I will let you know how and what is the right thing to do. I'll talk about all of it. But from class perspective, what is a class? What is a template? What is creating object meaning? Do you think you have any question? Anybody? Because this is the foundation of programming. You cannot succeed if you have any doubt in your mind. I'm here to help. Ask me questions. Anyone?
Was fun.
Okay. What about Peter, Venkat? Yeah.
It's good now.
No,
All right. Good stuff. So we understand this part very well. Now we created these two members, totally okay. What about setting the data inside it? Let's do it. So JSON dot name, and let's give the value to it. Say JSON. Let's give the value to JSON, the gender, male. Let's give the JSON location, remote, say true. They're working remote. and JSON dot skill set. Let's give manual tester. We can do that. At the same time, Susan dot name equals Susan dot remote equals true. Susan dot gender and Susan dot skill set automation tester. Perfect. Now let's do one thing. Let me just go back to the team member class and simply say just give the so because I have already filled in the values, I can actually say name plus started task at name plus stopped task at a particular time. How do I do this? I just go and simply say JSON dot print info number one, JSON dot start task. Let's get the time at here, saying 10 a.m. and JSON dot stop time stop task equals 5 p.m. and Susan dot print info, Susan dot start task 9 a.m. and Susan dot stop task at 4 p.m. Something like that. That's all. If I go and run this, right? You have understood that what is a template class means and what is why I have a main class, right? Everybody got that, correct? Emmanuel, did you get it? So Shoaib, did you get it? Why
Yes,
do I?
Sovik. Yes, Sovik.
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Yes, Sovik.
Perfect. Good. Okay, so now that we have this part, let's go and try to understand a few more stuff. So from in the car class also, we are doing the same thing, exact same thing, creating a template and multiple cards out of it. Okay, let's go to the next one. How to create a class. I showed you how to create a class. What are different class members? There are different type of class members, obviously understandable by the word member. It means whatever is within the class is called as a member. So we can have multiple different members, variables, methods, constructors, right? We will deal with constructors later on. For now, we're dealing with variables and methods, all right? So variables I showed you, which are the attributes that will hold the data. You understood that, right? So you are holding the data inside the variables, okay? And methods is basically a task which you are going to perform as soon as you call that method it will perform a particular task for you. You just saw start task, end task. These are different methods created. You call it, it performs a job. In this case, we were simply printing out statements, but you can actually perform complex operations. Okay, the idea is simply reusability. Okay, just reuse the method over and over again so that you just don't duplicate your code, right? Whenever you see that whatever the code you're writing, if you see that there is a possibility that this code can be reused over and over again, we convert that code to a method and call it over and over again. That's what a method does. We'll talk more on it. Okay, how is the class instance created? I told you with a new keyword, you're creating multiple instances or object, whatever you call it. How to access a class member? I told you how. You create a class, you give the class name, you create a reference variable. New is the keyword and then car, right? Car with a bracket. There is a significance. There is a significance about this bracket out here, which is leading to our next discussion about constructor, and we will talk about that. Okay, but always remember this bracket is there for a reason. Okay, everything it happens in programming is there for a reason, right? So now that we created a instance variable or a reference variable, then we are going to simply access the variables or the attributes which are residing inside the template. So there are two different things here, right? One is called a reference variable, and these are called instance variable. The variables which are there in the class template, we call it as instance variable. Because we are creating a class instance, and then within the instance there are variables. So this is instance variable, and reference variable is basically the object that you created out of the class, right? So remember that. Let's go and move on. All right, this is also very important for you to understand. I was just talking about this part. There are two different type of memory inside Java Virtual Machine. There are two different type of memory. One is called heap memory, another one is called stack memory. All right, in the stack memory, whatever the methods are being called, it gets stacked one after another. So it calls last in first out approach. The method that was accessed last will be called first, so on and so forth, right? So that's the stack memory. And then we have a heap memory where I was talking about the multiple different objects being created. So now you see what I did here. It is very important for you to understand this part. So what I did here is I created a instance variable or reference variable of car class called Volkswagen. New car. Look at the color coding. Okay, new car. It's in blue. As soon as I created that, I got this guy here, and you know that I can set the values inside it. That's cool. Immediately, what I did, using the same reference variable, I again called the statement new car. I can do that because at the end of the day, it's a variable. A variable can point or can hold multiple types of values. Okay, so I just said Volkswagen again. Okay, the same guy again. I'm using that same guy again, and then I'm pointing it to a new object. So I said new car, and that's an orange. So basically, what happened? This reference variable that you created here is now pointing to a different object. When you say new car, you just created another guy right here. Okay, and then I created another guy, which is Aston Martin. Aston Martin equals new car. So that's green. That's here. These all guys are reference variable, but here there is something weird happened. I told you it's all about memory location. So Volkswagen was earlier pointing to the blue zone. Now the same Volkswagen is pointing to the orange zone. So in the orange zone, there is a memory created, and that is allocated for Volkswagen. Now, if that's the case, the question comes, where is that blue box gone? Like, who is now holding the data for blue box? The blue storage where you were holding the information earlier. What is happening to it now? So that's where Java kicks in garbage collector. Garbage collector job is automatically finding out any unclaimed memory space. As soon as it sees something like that, it simply clears it out. So garbage collector will simply delete this guy, and you will be left out with the only orange zone and the green zone. Is this making sense to everyone? Give me a shout, please.
Yes, please.
All right. Andre?
Very good, sir. Thanks.
Okay, good, good, perfect, perfect.
Sorry, Souvik, one quick question.
Tell me.
I understand how this works, but in what instances you will use this, like, car Volkswagen is equal to new car? In most instances you will be using that. But is there any particular reason why you would use Volkswagen is equal to new car?
I mean, you're saying that why will I actually point it out to another object?
Yes. Why would you do that?
I actually would not do that. I'm just saying you to make you understand the concept of garbage collector, that
Oh, okay.
why and how garbage collector really reacts. If it finds any unclaimed memory space, it
Mm-hmm.
kicks in. And you as a user of Java will never have to even know about it,
Okay.
right?
All right. Okay. Got it.
Cool.
So
So yeah, go on.
sorry, I was just gonna say, if, for example, this example with the Volkswagen cars, if you like, if you want to have like 100 of them, which are all of them are Golf 1.5 and 5 seats, you just add another variable with like an ID or something, and then
Exactly.
they won't be deleted. You would have all of them, right? As long as like the
Exactly.
number is different.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly. Do you want me to do this quick
No.
task? I mean, it
No, you
won't
don't
be a.
have to. I just wanted to, yeah, to make sure. I know. I mean, I understood now. I just wanted to make sure that if one of the, um,
Let's do a quick program. Let's do a quick program. Yeah, because we picked it up. So I'll quickly do this. Don't worry. That program is going to be fun. All right. Let me create a simple car. Car guy, and here I'm gonna say string brand, string model, string engine, and I'll do one more thing. I'll say int, say batch name number, not batch number, sorry, engine number with something which is unique always. And let's put it at 0. And string brand engine, and that's it. And
Souvik, are you able to clarify why we are not using public here while we are here now?
I can create it. I can do it. I'm just not giving any access modifier to it. When I don't give access modifier to it, by default, Java will add in default access to it. Okay, we'll talk about that. I can do that public. If it's confusing you, I can just give this public. But ideally, when I talk about access modifier, then you will know exactly what is all different type of access modifiers are and how to use it. But just to make it simple, I'm just putting it public for everyone. And here I just say sysout, I'll not sysout, my bad. I'll just say public void print car info, simple, and then just simply print out all these guys. So just say batch or engine number plus engine, right? And let's copy brand model engine size. So this is your brand model engine size. Good, simple template. Let's go and create, say, 10 Volkswagen Golf. New class, generate Golf, right? With the main method. Okay. Let's create some information. I'm going to create an array string, no, int array, say engine number, and let's give some value here. So I'll just get some random stuff. I'll just give 6 few of them. Right, 5 of them, and okay, I'm done with that. My bad. All right, I'm done with that. So I've created this engine number, and I'll just give some information. So we are talking about Golf. So Golf will have particular engine size and brand and name. So string brand is Volkswagen. I'll say string model is Golf, and I'll say string engine. By the way, did I do my bad, right? It is not going to be this. I'll say double engine, and we will go for generate Golf. So double engine equals 2.0. I don't know how much it is, but anyways, right? That's my simple situation. Let's create 5 of these guys. How? Simple. Let's go and do a loop for int num or engine colon engine number, right? That's my simple loop. This is a, okay, it is a duplicate guy, so that's why it's a problem. Now my plan is simple. I'm going to create a car Golf equals null. I'm setting this to null because at this stage I don't want to create an object. I'm just saying car Golf equals null. Now I say Golf equals new car, and we go and say Golf dot brand equals Foxwell, okay, equals brand. You see, I have already added the brand here. So I'm just going to copy that. So golf dot model equals golf model golf dot engine equals engine. And finally, golf dot engine number equals sorry, golf dot, what's the name of it? Engine number, right? Yeah, golf dot engine number equals ENG, right? So I created 4 of them and then just say sys out. I'm gonna say golf dot print car info. And why do I have a problem here? The method, sorry, what is it? The print boolean is not applicable to the void.
Should the engine be set to float?
I bad. I don't even have to do this because why am I printing that? Printing is already there. I mean, anyways, so that's it. And let's go and run this. Okay. See, I created the golf 5 times and everything is here created the way it is supposed to be. Make sense, Andre?
Yeah.
A simple loop, and then you create the object over and over again.
But the way you did, you used car golf equals null, and then wouldn't you be able to just write everything inside the for loop, like car golf equals?
You can.
It would still work the same, right?
It will work the same, yeah. But I'm just showing you another way of doing it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Right. So, okay, great. Now, if you have understood the memory management and how to basically create multiple car objects and templates, and those things are fine. Let's go and understand what are methods. Methods are basically helping me to solve do not repeat yourself principle. Okay. This can be achieved by constructing a method and then calling it whenever you require it, right? So you can see that I have a method here called print brand name. Okay. There are few types of methods that you have to understand. Number one is a method that performs the task, and that's all it does. For example, print brand name, the actual requirement of this particular method is nothing but other than simply printing out some information, and that's all. So you understand that the string brand is a variable which is in the car class. So understand this. It is called scoping, right? So you can see the car class is having a scope from here to here, from this particular flower base to this particular flower base. That's the scope of the car class, meaning whatever you keep here on the top, all these variables can be accessed by all the methods or any other members. It could be constructor, it could be methods. Everybody will be able to access whatever you keep here. This is called as global space of the car, right? Whatever you design, whatever you keep here, generally you will keep variables here, obviously. Whatever you keep here can be accessed by every other class members. So the point is, this print brand name method is doing nothing but whatever the value you see in the brand variable is simply printing it out, and that's all it is doing. Now, the job of this method is just to print and nothing else. Okay? There's another method that it simply gives you back the value of the model. So this method is having a requirement to return back some information to the caller. Look at it. The way I call the methods, it's very important for you to understand that. So I am calling this methods over here. Say Volkswagen equals brand name. When I called it, it will simply print out this particular guy here, and it's done with it. Next method is, for example, get model name. This get model name is a caller, right? I'm calling the method. I'm calling the method with the help of my reference variable. I told you how it is done. So we will be using a dot operator, and we will be accessing the methods or the class members. So we are calling the get model name method. This get model name method is supposed to return back some information, meaning I can easily say this. I can say string model equals, I can say string models equals Volkswagen.get model name, meaning what? Meaning get model name method will return back whatever the value I have in the model variable to this particular variable model. This model is a part of the main class. You understand? This model is part of the main class. In the main class, I have a model variable which wants to hold the value of this model variable, which is inside the car class. How will it do it? It will simply call the method get model name. And you can see it very well that this method get model name is having a return type as string. Print brand name, on the other hand, is having return type as void, meaning it doesn't return anything. Scope of that method is just over between this flower brace and this flower brace, right? The scope of the method is also over between this flower brace and this flower brace, but it returns back some information. So I got the model name right here. Lastly, I have another method that reacts depending on what information you pass on to it. How do you pass on an information inside a method? You pass on inside a method with an information using something called a method with an argument or parameter. You can parameterize your method so that your method can react differently. You're parameterizing your method so that your methods can react differently. It can hold different kind of information. You see, this method over here, okay? So this method doesn't return back anything. It's a void method. That's fine. First, number one. Secondly, this method is there just to update, the information, that is the number 5 for the seating capacity. I just want to information. I want to add the information to the variable seating capacity, which is a part of my class. That's how methods are built. That's how methods are used. So again, let's say refresher. Number one, a simple method the job is to perform something that you have already programmed inside the method. It will simply perform it and done with it. It is not going to return back anything. It's just going to execute something that you have already pre-programmed, number one. Number two is another method. This method will definitely execute whatever you are pre-programming within the method, but at the end of the day, it will also return back some information out of it. Why? Because this method is having a return statement, or I'll say a return type. So you can define that what type of value you're supposed to return. So that's that. And finally, another method. This method will also pre-program, execute whatever you are pre-programming within the method, but at the same time, it can also accept some parameter. You can have a requirement where you want to execute whatever the value, whatever the program within the method, depending on the parameter information. You want to change the way it is executed. Okay. Give me a shout if you understand what are methods. Yes or no?
Savik, I understand. Is it possible to just run a small program for return
I will go. I will go there. Absolutely.
return value? Because I understand in terms of principle, but sometimes I just get confused with that one.
No
So
problem.
just a
No
return
problem.
one. That's it.
Absolutely. No problem at all. So let's do a simple class. And let's say test methods. Test methods. This class, I will be creating a main class within the main class. And the idea is simple. That is, I'm going to create a method here. Okay. So let's create a method that can add in multiple or two different information or two different number. So public void. Okay, public static void. I'll tell you what is static, but for now, understand that this is a main method. From the main method, if I directly want to call this method, okay, I will have to make this method as a static method. Okay, or I can do one more thing. Okay, I'll show you both the options. Just for now, I'll make it a static, and then I'll say void, and then I'll say sum. Okay, and as a part of this method, I want to simply add two numbers that I want to pass it on as a parameter. So I say int a comma int b. Normal method sysout summation is I will go ahead and do a plus because I want to concatenate. I'll add a bracket because here I want to do the actual addition. And that's it. And I want to print it. I want to call this method. How do I call the method? So some method is a static method, right? If I don't give static, I'll show you what happens if I don't give static. And if I want to access some method from a main method, which is a static method, and if I want to give value, say 25, comma 35, you can see that I'm getting a problem saying cannot make a static reference to non-static method. So this is a non-static method, meaning it's saying that this because main method is a static method, I cannot call this method. Okay, so there are two options here. Let me first clear that out. There are two options here. Number one is you can make this method as a static method. What is static? We'll talk about this later on. Okay, but for now, understand this part only. That public static you can do, and then the problem gets fixed. Number one, or you can keep it as non-static. But if you keep it non-static, then this method can be accessed as using a reference variable. What do I mean? I mean, this test method that I have, I can easily create an object of test method within itself because there's a main method. So test methods, I have not shown this to you in the video, so which is why these summary classes are very important. Something that I missed in the videos, I discuss it here, okay? Because this comes in the flow, you know. So test methods, test equals new test methods, and that's a object I created from within the class. And because I'm accessing it within the main method, basically it will create an object of this particular class, and then I can just say test.sum. I can do that. So there are two ways I showed you. One is you keep it static and just call it directly, or you create the object of the same class and then you do it. Okay, anyways, let's talk about the method. So this method is right now performing a void, meaning nothing is happening. Nothing is getting returned. So run as Java application. It prints out the value as 16, perfectly fine. Or I can go ahead and perform an action to print out n number of values, summation of n number of values. Okay, how can I do that? I can do that with the help of a particular parameter type, and it's called var args. It's called var args. I have spoken about that in the video also. Var args, right? What exactly it does? It does this. So public, this method is supposed to return back the summation of all the numbers. So I'll say public int, the type of the method return type is int, public int sum, all right? And int dot space nums, right? So I am saying that I am creating a method that accepts a var args. How do you create a var args argument? Using the simple three dots, give a space and the argument name. That is how you create a var args argument. Why do I see the error here? If I hover on top of it, it gives me that the method must return a type of int. At this stage, I'm not adding any return statement. So let me just say return 0, just for the sake of taking that error out. Okay, I'm not going to return 0, obviously. All right, so the idea is, okay, return sum of n number of values. You can give n number of values to it, and it will get you the sum of it. How do you do this? Very simple. I say int res result equals 0. I say for each loop, because when I say var args is nothing but it's an array. This guy is nothing but it's an array of anything. If you want to say array of number, array of string, anything. Okay, as soon as you say int dot nums, you're saying it's an array of integer, right? So if it's an array, then I have my for each loop always ready. So int num colon nums, right? And idea is simple. Idea is that I will just go ahead and say res equals num plus res. What is the logic? Very simple logic. I'm saying when the loop iterates, suppose you have 10 different values, 10, 12, 23, 32, 45, 67, 89. The idea is very simple. The for each loop will simply pick up. Actually, I should have written this guy here, right? So what we'll do is all these values, which is a part of the array, the for each loop will pick up one value at a time inside the num variable. You know how for each loop works by now. So it'll pick up one by one at a time. So for example, it gets the first value as 12 here. And you can see the res is 0. So 12 plus 0 is 12. And the 12 gets stored in the res, right? Now, in the next iteration, the num is 32, but the value of res is 12. So 32 plus 12 is 44. So the 44 gets stored here. So and so forth. It'll keep on iterating for all these values until it finds the last number, and the summation will be ready for it, right? So all I have to do now is I'll say return res. Okay. So when I'm returning res, you can leave it as it is. You can, if you just do this, right? If you just say sum and then say sum and then say you want to give the value. So 12, 34, 56, 78, 90, XYZ, right? If you want to do this, you can absolutely feel free to do that. No problem at all. Run it. Run as Java application. It gives you back 60 only. It did perform this, but then nothing really happened. You don't see anything in the console. Why? Because this method is just returning the summation, but you are not catching it. You have to catch it. How do you catch it? You say int sum equals this. You caught it now, right? When you caught it, you can then go ahead and print it. Say sum equals to, you say sum, and now go ahead and run it. That's it. Does it clear your answer, Chef?
Yes.
Is it crystal clear, or will you be able to do this, or?
Yeah, I will be able to run this. Yeah.
Yeah, just not this, but try to create n number of methods. Okay, try to
Mhm.
create n number of methods, and let me show you something complex. Let me show you something complex. I think that'll be good. All right, so I have a
So,
car class. Yeah, go on.
so Vic, can
Yeah.
you show something like what I asked that day in Slack regarding returning of an array?
Okay, I'll actually show you even more than that.
Okay.
So we're creating an object here of car. Okay, and this car object is having a method called as print car info. Cool. Now I can actually have another method, and the method is that, no, let me think about it. Let me think about it. I'm just trying to think about returning something. Not required from here. So this is the card object. Okay, whatever I'm trying to think, I will show it in the in some time. But for now, you're talking about returning an array, right? Okay, we can return an array also. For example, this is the sum, right? I want to create another variable. Sorry, public string array. Okay, and let's try to say students location. something like that. All right. And as a part of it, my plan is that I'm gonna say string location equal string location and string dot names. Okay, so I have added two arguments to it. One is called names and another one is called location. Idea is that I will be adding multiple names to a location. Okay, uh, what I'll do is I'll say string temp equals null, right? And I'll say for each loop, and I'll say string name colon names, exactly the same program, no problem at all. Also, I will do something that is, I will create. Okay, so the idea is that I want to return back a array as Sakshi is mentioning. So what I will do is I will create an array at runtime. How? I can say string name or name with look or string info, just say info equals new string. But if you remember, you have to create an array with, when you're creating an array, you need to create an array with the index or the size. So the size over here, I can say names dot size, names dot length. Sorry, you understand what I did? I'm using this. I'm creating this array at runtime with the help of the names array. Names is an array, right? At the end of the day. So why am I doing this? Because my motive is to basically create an array of output like this. I will say the name is say Susan, and I will add the string will be Susan dash dash Dublin. So I'm just saying all the students are belonging to one location. So I will be passing the location information and I will say Susan, and then the next value will be say John, Dublin. So I'm just trying to create an array which will have the values like this. So with this array, I'm trying to create another array. And then the idea is that I will just simply say int I equals 0 or int counter equals 0 or int index equals 0, because it's an array, so I have to use it with the index, obviously. And then I say info index. Okay. And in here, I will build my array information. So I'll just say name plus, right? Plus, I will say the location is the same location. I'm not giving multiple location here. I'm just saying that Susan is belonging to Dublin. Okay, or every student will be belonging to Dublin or a particular location, right? So I did that and I'm doing it for all of it. By the way, I have to increment my counter. So index plus plus, that will increment my counter. And I will be able to fill in a new array. Basically, this array will be filled in with a new set of text. And then I go and say return what? Simply info. Info is a string of array and I'm returning a dot. If you see when I don't need this guy at all, right? That's all. So I'm building an index, I'm building an array with some new information and returning back that back the array, right? Now, when I return it back, I need to catch it, otherwise it doesn't make sense. So how do I catch it? I catch it right there in my main method. Just one second. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to say that string array, string array, I'll say name with location, location equals student's location, and this guy needs the location as Dublin or anything, France or Paris, right? And just give the array of strings, right? I can give multiple strings here. So give Susan, okay, these are strings. So Susan, comma, John, comma, Tamina, right? And that's it. And this should be working, but what are you having a problem? Okay, yes, because I got to say test dot students. I cannot access it directly. How about that? So I'm just saying Paris, that's the name of the location, and all these guys. So I got this guy here. Now I can print it out. How do I print it out? I can use a for each loop to print it out. You see how I simply access these names as a var args, added them to the Paris, and then got the value inside this location array. And now I'm going to print it out. So string val colon name with location, right? And then say this is out val. This should give me everything that I need. So test methods run as Java application. And see that? Does that answer your question,
Yes.
Sakshi? It's very simple. You can return back an array, you can return back a number, you can return back anything ideally. Right? However, I am also having a plan to talk about, so let me just think about it. So we have cars already. All right, we have cars already. And I want to do this. I want to create a car wash class. You know what? Let me just think about it in a minute, and then I will implement something for you in terms of methods. And I want to show you how we can leverage an object, a car object or any object, to use it in a different context or a related context. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I'll do is I'll quickly take a quick 5 minutes break. You guys take a breather as well, 5 minutes. We'll come back and continue from here. So far, whatever I have covered, are you guys crystal clear about it, or do you have any questions? Teshani, do you have any questions for me I can help you with?
No, sorry. Now that's so far clear.
Okay, good. What about May, Peter? How are things?
I just have a question. In that public class car, you set the engine as a double.
Yes.
Then you gave a value of 1.5. Should that not be a float?
No, both can have, so float and double, both can store decimal values. But if you have watched my video, you will note there's a difference between all these different data types. So the difference is in the size. So with the float, you can store certain number of decimal pointers, and with double, you can store a little bit longer, a little bit more decimal pointers, right? So that's the difference, the size, the how much the data, how much more data you can store as a part of double. I could have done it with float also, but yeah, I use double.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good stuff. All right.
So Vic,
Go on. Venkat.
as we can see in Eclipse here, there are so many number of methods here, like get and some methods. Is there any list we can see on itself here, or how do we know that?
Which methods you're talking about?
As you said, some or get methods.
Okay, so in the test method, if you go in, so if you want to, are you saying that these three methods? Okay, sorry.
Now, is there any list of finding the method types of methods?
I'm still not getting it. These methods are the one that I created right now, right?
Yeah, it's there is some, right? So public void some.
Yeah.
And you said earlier there is a get method as well.
Yeah, those are the methods we created, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't get the question.
No, and how do we find out there are few other methods as well there, right? So is there any way to see it, or
you will open the class and see it, right? Either you can open the class and see it, or if you just do this, right? For example, test methods, I created an object called test, and then if you just say test dot,
yeah, dot, yeah.
you can see that there are methods like students, some, right? Do you see that?
Yeah.
These methods are coming from test methods class, so you can also see the name of the class. So these methods are coming from the test methods class, so you can access them.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Let's do a quick 5 minutes break and then come back, and then we'll continue from here on. Thank you. Okay. So now let's try to little bit understand about something different than what I have shown you. So in Generate Golf, I created, okay, so this is Generate Golf, right? No, let's not do Generate Golf. Let's just create another test class. I'll say class. I'll say generate cars, right? No, 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 no. My motive is to create a class, and I'll name this class as car wash. Okay. So see, I'm just trying to build this just on fly. So I'm just creating a class called car wash. All right. So in this car wash, I've given you a task to create a car wash, and as a part of the car wash, there are 3 different types of car washes that you can do. Okay. So let's say public, double, say basic or standard, standard, and I'm giving some value here. The value is okay. Let me do this. Let me create a final, because the value of standard car wash is could be $10 or €10, whatever. Public final double 10.25, something like this. Double say standard, say premium, and say 12.50, and then public final double, and let's say extra extra gloss or whatever, right? €15, $15, 15.50, whatever. These are three different types of plan in the car wash. I have a method. The method is public void start wash as a part of this, my idea is that I want to say what type of plan it is. So I should have created double package. Just say pack, right? This is the package that I want to use, and idea is that I want to perform the car wash in the car, meaning I'm showing you that I can send the entire car as a parameter as well. Something that I have not shown you earlier, I'm showing you now so that you can open your mind. Meaning I can say car and say car. Do you see that? I am not saying in the argument as string, double, boolean, etc. Those are my data types. That's totally fine. But at the same time, I can actually pass an entire object as well. Idea is sys out. Because I pass the car, I can now say car dot brand plus car dot model. Okay. Starting wash with package and then just give the package a name, package information, pack, right? I'm getting some questions maybe. Why has car been written twice in line 9? Why do you think I've done that? Can you read it and see what I'm doing here? Reader, can you see clearly what I'm doing here?
No.
Who else can tell me this? Shoaib, what do you think? Why am I doing this? Why am I writing car twice here?
It's a reference variable, I think.
Anybody else?
It's you passing an argument, car.
No, the car.
You are getting the information from car class.
Car plus.
Right. So car is a class and car is an object. Car is a class and car is an object. I can give any name to it. I can say auto. Big deal, right? And say auto.brand. So auto is an object of car. This is how we write a reference variable. If you just go to here, how do you write a reference? How do you create a parameter? How do you give a parameter into the method? You give the parameter type and then you give the parameter name. The type is string and the name of the parameter is location. Exactly same. Type of the parameter is car and the name of the parameter is auto. Make sense? Yes, no, Rita?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Good. So I did that. And now idea is that I want to obviously run public void stopwatch and just the car information here. I'm not really bothered about. I'm not bothered about the pack information there. So starting wash. Copy stopping, right? Okay. So car wash is a separate entity. You understand that? Car wash is a separate entity. Car is a separate entity. Let's do this in a diagrammatic way. So car is a separate entity. Car wash is a separate entity. They're two different guys. We all understand that? I'm going to use a package or a class here. The class will be perform car wash. Perform car wash. And what happens is that in the perform car wash, my idea is to create a car object, maybe a Mercedes, and send this car Mercedes to car wash. Can I do that? I can. I can. How? Let's try to see that, right? So I create a class here. I create a class here. New class. And we will say this class as perform car wash. And this guy is going to be my main method now, because this is the guy who will actually let me do the task, right? We have created a car wash template. We have created a car template, but perform car wash will actually let me do the job. So perform car wash with the main method now. What's the plan? Plan is to create a couple of cars. Car Mercedes equals a new car, and Mercedes dot brand Mercedes Mercedes dot model. That's all I need. I don't need anything else here, to be very true. I don't really have to bother about like adding multiple different values for other stuff, because all I need is brand, model, and yeah, that's pretty much about it, right? I mean, from the car wash perspective, I don't really need to hold anything else other than this two. So Mercedes model, Mercedes brand, and model is say class E, something like that. And that's all I'm creating here. I can create something same for car Mazda, new car, and then say Mazda dot brand equals Mazda, and Mazda dot say model is Mazda 6, right? I want these two guys to be sent to the car wash. Can we do it with the help of, we can do it in multiple ways, but I'm going to show you looping mechanism. Meaning, can we do this? Can we create an array of cars? Can we do that? We can, right? How? We can say car array. I'm trying to go advance so that you can process it. Whatever we have discussed earlier, using that, I'm just showing you its variations so that you can process it. So car array, I'll say cars colon equals to, here I pass on Mercedes, comma Mazda. Can we do that? Absolutely we can. You see that? I created a array of cars which has some information. Number one, let's do a looping mechanism, correct? So I'll say for cars. So this array is holding cars information. So cars, car, colon cars. I should say car, not cars here. So car colon cars. Right? Once I have that, now I can process my car object over and over again. Good. But where do you want to where do I want to process this? I want to process this inside the car wash. Meaning I can say car wash, car wash. Let's give a name of the car wash. May say Stoney's garage. Stoner's garage. I don't know. Garage equals new car wash. We can do that. And idea is Stoney's garage will now have to perform the car wash for 2 cars. Can we do that? Absolutely yes. We'll say Stoney's garage. Okay. Dot start car. As a part of the pack, I want to pass on the pack information. So I say pack is Stoney's garage dot, say I want to go for premium, and auto is car. Auto is car. You can do that. And no, here there's a problem, right? Because I added in the looping mechanism, so both the cars will be like washed with the premium situation. If I want to do it one by one, meaning then I have to simply call Stoney's start wash 2 times, right? But here I'm just passing on premium information for all the cars. Okay, that's not the problem. I believe you have understood that, but let me just go and say dot stopwatch, and here I just pass on the car again, and you're good. Now the idea is that I am washing Mazda and Mercedes in a premium wash 2 times. You can say that this for loop is simply running as a machine performing car washes. Can you guys give me a confirmation that you have understood the setup for car, the car wash, and perform car wash? Why am I so much talking about this complex situations? Because this is what we will be handling. You should have crystal clear understanding of what is car, what is a class, how to create, why to create car objects or class objects, how to use it. This setup that I'm talking about, it should be, in your mind. If middle of the night somebody asks you, you should be able to explain what exactly is happening here. Can you guys tell me, can you guys give me a confirmation that you understand this very much?
I understand what you explained about all this. I just have one question about line 15.
Right.
So cars is the name of the array, right?
That's right.
And
I'm
then
creating a array of car.
Yes, which is the object,
No,
right?
car is a class.
A class, yes. But I
And
mean, usually you would have like string or int or whatever in that array. But then because you used car there, does it mean it's
that
kind of
means
like
that
it's
mean
linked to the car class?
yeah, exactly. So how do I create an array? I say string array, I say names, and then I say
Whatever names, yeah.
in the string I give names, right?
Yes.
So what are these guys actually? These are nothing but actually the instance of multiple string class. It's a reference variable which are holding value. Exactly like this. You see, I create a car array, and here I'm just putting in the actual car object. When you're creating a array of a object or array of a class, it means that it can hold the objects of that class. I mean, I cannot go and say number here, right? I cannot say 12 and 35, 34 here, because that will not make sense. 12, 34
Unless
is an integer.
Yes, but if they are like in between
in between quotes, then they are
yes,
converted to a string.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Yes.
So we could basically if you would use instead of car, for example, string there, and then you would just in line 19 you would change from car to string, and then same for the 4 where you have car, cars. So the second car would be string, and then it would still work the same. It's just the name.
No. You got it wrong then. I can okay. Okay, this is why I was saying. Understand this. Are you saying me to do this?
No, I was just saying that in line 15, the first car.
Yeah.
That if that would be something else.
Something else, like right now.
The name of the car.
Right now, this is string, right?
Yes.
But I'm getting an error here. Why?
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. I meant so on the first word on line 15.
Yeah.
If you would change that car to something else.
Okay. Something else means what? String?
Yeah, for example, string.
I did. Okay.
And then on line 18.
Okay, so
I would.
It
would be same like it was before. Yeah, and then I would just change on line 18 the second car. I would change it to string. The second one, yeah, that one.
To string. Yeah. This is not a. This is a variable. This guy is a variable. This guy is a variable. It is. You cannot change that to a string. It's a variable. A variable just is the name. It's just the name of the type. You cannot make this a string. This doesn't mean. See, I'm getting the error.
I thought it's gonna go to line 15, and that's where it will take the cars from, the Merc and the Mazda.
No, you understand. Okay, let me actually set this back up, and let me show you what is actually happening. And this is why I wanted to take up a complex example to just to show it to you. Hold on. Let me clear my drawing first. Okay, never mind. What I'll do is I'll put a breakpoint. I'll put a breakpoint right here, line number 15. Everybody got till line number 15. I'm creating two different objects of car, naming it different with the help of the variable names. They are two different guys. They have different values here. So all good with that. Now I'm using line number 15, right? I'm putting a breakpoint line number 15. So not this, but this guy, debug as Java application. All right. Understand this. I'm creating an array of cars. I'm creating an array of cars. Car array. The name of the array is cars. Okay. And the value that this array will hold is nothing but the actual car objects which I created just here and here. Meaning, if I just go to the next line, now you see something. I'm double clicking on this. Always do this, guys. If you want to learn Java, if you want to learn programming, this is the habit you have to build. You have to you cannot go anywhere without this. So right click on it, go to watch. When you go to watch, it tells you a story. I want you to read that story on your own without my help. Meaning, when you are in the cars, if you go and expand this arrow, it shows you something. It shows you that index number 0 of that array is having a car object, which is why it is saying car class. Index number 1, it is showing another object. You see, they have two different IDs. Now, if I just go ahead and expand this one more time, it shows something. It shows that brand is Mercedes, model is class E. These two numbers are nothing because I haven't added anything there. Similarly for other two guys, Mazda and Mazda 6. Meaning what? Meaning these two indexes are holding actual car information. They are two different car information. These are the objects. I'm trying to talk about it over and over again so that you can understand the difference between a class and the object. When I say string, name, string is a class, name is an object. This example is for non-primitive data type. It's a non-primitive data type, right? There are two types of data types, primitive and non-primitive. This guy is non-primitive. What is primitive? Int num equals 0. This is a primitive data type, meaning this is not a class. String is a class. This is a primitive data type. Primitive data type. Meaning you can yourself create a data type as well. You can say car as a data type as well. And you have just created a car as a data type. You have given the name of the data type as Mazda. And you can say that this guy is a non-primitive data type. You can say that. A data type that holds the information of a car. How about that? Is this making sense?
It does now. I thought that all the primitive and the non-primitive data types that you gave us, I thought those are the only ones. I never
No.
thought that it could be.
Exactly. That is why these classes are important.
Okay, that's why I thought the string, because I thought that's like the type of the array. That's why I said, why don't we, for example, use string instead of car, and then we have the Merc and the Mazda. But I got it now, so it's like an array of objects, and that's basically the type of the array is car, where you have all the objects or all the cars that you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Very good. What about others? What about Peter? What about Shoaib? What about Emmanuel?
Yeah, Sovik, I got it right, yes.
Very good. Venkat, what about you?
Yeah, I can understand now that the name of the objects and everything. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What about Janosch? Anaj, what about you? I see you joined late, but I hope you're getting my point. Okay. Peter, do you have to say anything?
Yeah, I'm just, it's a bit confusing because there's so many instances of CA or, but just question for line 18, you have you have the second, you have capital CAO, which is the class, and you have CAO. So you could change the second instance to lowercase CAO to X or banana, as long as you change the same line. The same occurrence in 19 and 20. Is that correct?
That's right, exactly. So this is why I was telling you that whatever I showed you earlier during the previous classes, whatever I showed you, try to practice it with multiple variations. So this guy is nothing but the name of the variable or the object. You see, car is a class, the type of it, and this guy is just the name of the type. So here, string is a type, name is the type of string. Is that make sense? Similarly,
Yeah.
R is a type, and you're creating a type. I mean, the name of that object, which is holding, which is going to hold the car information. So I have created a car array, where I have added two different cars, a Mazda and a Mercedes. Why these two are different? Because they have two different values. At the same time, they are, in the JVM perspective, they have two different memory location. That's why they're different. So these two guys are basically cars. And then what am I doing? I'm just putting them together into an array. And all am I doing here in line number 18 is just looping around this entire array of cars. When I'm looping around the entire array of cars, my motive is that I will be using my Stony Garage, which is the object of car wash class, and simply I'm creating the object of Stony Garage, I mean the car wash, because I want to call the method star wash and stop wash. How will I call them if I don't create the object of the class? So I created the object of the class, named it as Stony's Garage, and then I say start wash and stop wash. When I say start wash method accepts a double value, which is the package information. And at the same time, it also accepts the auto information or the car information. You can see from the method, how do you know? How do you know a method accepts what? How do you know that? It's very simple. Hover your mouse on top of the method. That's it. Do you see this? It says start wash method, which is a part of car wash class. So you see car wash, which is in uppercase and then again uppercase. That's how you name a class, right? It always starts with the uppercase. So that's a class. Car wash is a class. Start wash is a method within car wash class, and start wash methods accepts two parameters. One is pack, which is a double type, and auto, which is a car type. Because of this because of this setup, right? I'm able to pass on the auto object, which is basically the car object, which is one of these Mercedes and Mazda, to the method start wash, which is why you saw that I was able to print out the required information from it. You see, starting car wash with this, starting and stopping. Is this making sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. I give you guys a warning that classes and objects is going to be a little bit mind bending. So you have to take it a little slow, and I have no problem to give you more classes about it if you are not understanding it. I have no problem about it, but this is the foundation. You go to any programming language, whenever we are trying to do advanced stuff, right? You need to break it down in all these organized structures. So why are these there? Why are we even bothered about classes and everything? Because this is going to make our life very easy later on. We are creating an organized structure. We're learning how to create an organized structure through our programming. So that's the motive. Okay. So then let's go back to our slide. Here. Okay. Understanding scope. I told you, what is it? I told you that, okay, there are two different type of scopes here, guys. One is the global scope and local scope. Okay. Whatever you are adding at the very top, just below the, just above everything else, is basically the global scope, meaning whatever you are adding here, the variables, the objects, these guys will be accessed by every other class member. And there is also a local scope, like this method here, downgrade sitting capacity by 1. This method is having a variable called seat. And this guy seat is never accessed, or it will be never accessed out of this particular method block. The scope of this method is lying only within this section. And the scope of this guy over here can be the whole class. Everybody can access that. So that's the difference between local and global scope. Very simple to understand. You can even practice it. You can just go and add multiple variables here and create multiple methods here. You will be able to access them. But you create a local variable within a method, you will not be able to access it anywhere. Okay. So that's how you can easily test it. So let's quickly move on. Okay, that's the end of this particular section. Let me go to class 6. I don't know how much of it I will be able to cover, but there is no problem if I'm taking it slow and explaining you. What is Selenium? Understand Selenium architecture, jar. Okay. So now that we understood, how classes are working and all this stuff, we are now talking about Selenium. In terms of Selenium configuration, it's a very, very simple task to do. What you have to do is in your project, whichever project will hold your Selenium code, in this project, you have to add in the Selenium jar file. I showed you what is a jar file, how to create a jar file. Like you and me, somebody has created the jar file for Selenium, which is holding all Selenium libraries. And all I have to do is have to add it to the respective project, meaning I go back to selenium.dev website. When I go in here, okay, what is happening with this guy? Okay, so when I come in here, you go to downloads. When you reach downloads, there's only one jar that I'm talking about. Click on this 3.141.59 that downloads a jar file. And you have to add that jar file to your project. That's all you have to do. So how do you add it to the project? Very simple. Right click on the project, say properties, say Java build path. Here. And under class path, say add external jars. And then you go and add in your Selenium jar. So for me, I think it is somewhere in dev work, drivers, this guy here, open, apply and close. That's my simple setup for Selenium. You don't have to do anything. With the same setup, you can actually work with Selenium Grid in the future as well. So that's all you need. Now, once you're done with this, we can say new class. And sorry, I'll just create a new package, right? New package. And the package name will be test Selenium. As a part of this, let's go and say new class. And I'll say Selenium test. Okay. With the main method, right? What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create an object of Chrome driver. Why? Because I want to launch the Chrome driver. Okay. Because I added Selenium Webdriver in my project, I can straight away go and say Chrome driver, Chrome equals new Chrome driver. I can easily say that. And you can see when I said that, it is giving me some error. Why it is giving me the error? Because Chrome driver class do exist in my project as a library, but I have to explicitly import this information into this class. How do I do it? Just hover on this, import Chrome driver, and that does the job. Okay. Now we can go ahead and just try to execute this class. How? Right click on this, run as Java application. When I do it, I am immediately getting an error message. Error message says the path to driver executable must be set by webdriver.chrome driver. You will get these red error messages over and over again. Okay. You will also get red. Okay, always make sure that you understand and read the error message. Don't think that anything is red over here doesn't mean it's an error message. Okay. Everything is not an error message. But if you see something like exception, like a keyword like exception, you will know that, yeah, it is an error message. And you will also see that the execution of the program stopped abruptly. You see that when I ran it, it was just trying to run, and this red button over here will be running if your program is actually running, right? But if it stops, it will be grayed out, which means it's terminated, right? So what it is saying me here is that I have to add on the location of the Chrome driver path. So let me try to set it up first. Very simply, you can set this up. Just say system dot set property, system dot set property. And here you have to give the property information. So this is the system property. So just copy this guy, paste it here, and then put in the value. The value is the thing, but the location where your Chrome driver is installed, or not installed, but downloaded. How do you get the Chrome driver? It's very simple. In the same page, selenium.dev, if you just scroll down, you will see a browser section. Open this up and you can see all the stuff here. We are looking for the Chrome driver. So just go to the documentation, and then whatever the Chrome driver you have in your system installed, look for that same Chrome driver version and download something that is out here. If that version is old, get the updated version and then download the Chrome driver version, whatever is available. For me, it's already there, so I will just go and I will use it as it is, meaning let me go to my C drive, dev work, drivers, Chrome driver. That's my Chrome driver. So copy this path, put it here, / Chrome driver .exe. I have also explained in the video that why am I adding / here instead of / is added basically for escaping the / I will quickly give you some understanding. Please try to Google more about it. There is something called as escape character. Escape character. Why do you care? Because when you use something like /n slash sorry /n /t, okay, /n from Java perspective is a new line character. /t from Java perspective is a tab character. You can actually prove that very easily just by saying sysout, and I'm gonna say Sovic and just say /n, right? And then if I just run this piece, that's how it is. You see, /n works as a new line character. /t works as a tab character. So if I just say like this, run, and you will see a gap, correct? So these are called escape character, guys. Now, when you are just giving a slash, a single slash from Java perspective, you must also escape it, meaning you're basically trying to tell the program that don't consider the slash as a part of a program, but just access it as a part of the string. That's all you're saying. It's just trying to say that you're escaping the escape character. That's it. So that's how I'm building my string towards the exe file. And then once I have this, let's go and trigger this part. Run as Java application. And you see things are in red. Doesn't mean that it's a problem. And you just saw that the program executed and the program got terminated also, meaning there is nothing more to execute. And you see the window open, the Chrome window opened. Okay, a blank Chrome window opened. Now, what exactly is this guy actually? Why do I have, I mean, how do we get a Chrome window? Okay, and how exactly Selenium works is what we have to understand, right? So, um, okay, how does Selenium work is what we have to understand. There are 3 components to it. I'll say 4 components to it. Number 1 is a WebDriver. In this case, the example that I gave you, it was our Chrome driver. So you saw me instantiating the Chrome driver object. The object name was Chrome. All right. At the very end, we have your test cases, Java file. The Java file that I have created right now called Selenium test or something like that. There's a Java file, and then you have a Chrome. And then we have an entity called browser. So it was our Chrome browser. Chrome browser. Good stuff. Now what happens is this. When you trigger a particular statement, when you execute a particular statement from your Java file, like we did, we said Chrome driver Chrome equals new Chrome driver. That's how you're creating an instance of Chrome driver. When you did that, what happened is you actually opened up a Selenium WebDriver REST API endpoint. It's a mouthful. So Selenium WebDriver, okay, I think because it's already there, I'd say REST API endpoint. Or I'll say server. A server which is opened as soon as you're creating the first statement, Chrome driver equals new Chrome driver, you are simply opening up a server which is waiting to listen to whatever you have to say or you have to execute. For example, you are planning to execute as a part of your test, you're planning to execute a simple command, which is .click. Ideally, you want to click on a particular button in your browser, in the application. You are calling the method called .click. When you do that, what happens? This click method is obviously a part of the library, the Selenium WebDriver library that you added to your project. That's absolutely yes. But within the click method, there is something important that you don't see. It's abstracted out, right? So that click method is containing some information. What information does it contain? It contains some information like the element to be clicked, browser to be performed, browser to test, right? Browser version, right? So on and so forth. So the click method itself is processing or transferring some information automatically that it is gathering from the environment and passing it on to the Chrome driver server, the server that got instantiated. I would say a REST API server. A REST API server is just waiting for instruction. So click was a instruction that was sent to the server. Server understands it, and then it processes it further. Okay, and then it processes further to the browser. We'll talk about that again. But let's try to first talk about this information that it is gathering. When it is gathering this information, it is sending those information to the Chrome driver, right, as a part of a particular protocol. The protocol is JSON wire protocol. Why do I even care? What is JSON, by the way? JSON is one of the most renowned way or data structure using which you can transfer data from one end to the other end. So all this information that you have gathered, not you, but the click method has gathered, will be then processed further to the server using JSON wire protocol. Let me actually give you an understanding how a JSON looks like. JSON means what? JSON means, let me say JSON, and I'll say images. If you look at it closely, you, Leva, I think you're not in mute. No problem. I'll just mute it. So you see that this is a JSON format. It's a proper data structure that runs on key value pair. If you look at a JSON format, we will go through JSON a lot more in future, but you can see we have a key here, and then this is an object, right? And there's a key here, and this is an array. Okay, don't think too much about it. We will go through it later on when we talk about REST API testing. We'll talk about it in details and go over it over and over again. But for now, just understand that it is a complex data structure that we use to transfer data from one end to the other end. So you don't really have to bother about it, because as a part of Selenium WebDriver, it is being done already. JSON wire protocol simply picks up all this information and transfers to the REST API. The REST API server then performs the action in the browser. How does it do it? I showed you that we have downloaded driver called as Chrome driver. Every browser will have a specific driver object, driver.exe. Every browser will have that. So JSON wire protocol is basically transferring those instructions to the WebDriver. WebDriver is then sending that information to the respective driver that you have just added for your browser, and that information will be then sent to the browser, forwarded to the browser, where the actual action will be triggered. When the actual action is triggered, the action information, the response of it comes back to the WebDriver again, and then from the WebDriver it comes back to the test again. If the action is performed successfully, then you will see the next step will be performed, or the next action will be performed. Like click is an action, and then you have another action called as send keys, .send keys, right? It's another action. So first click will be performed, and then if it is a successful interaction, then the send keys will be performed, so on and so forth. But this entire structure, you have to understand and remember, there is a WebDriver, there is a test, there is a browser, there is JSON wire protocol using which the data is transferred. I mean, the instruction and the data is transferred to the Chrome driver, sorry, the WebDriver endpoint. From there to the Chrome driver instance, Chrome driver exe, to the browser, and then the response comes back to it. So this is called JSON wire protocol, ideally. Okay. So everybody's clear with this entire architecture diagram? Yes, no?
Yeah, so a key question.
Go on.
It might be the silly question. I
No
just
problem.
want to say,
Go on. Yeah.
if the Selenium supports only the Chrome browser only, or IE also?
It supports Edge. Okay, you will know that information very easily from the site itself. If you go down to the site, you will see, when you go to the download section, scroll down, browsers, you support Firefox IE 11. Only version 11 is supported, not others. Safari, Opera, Chrome, Edge. That's all it supports. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
And also it supports only JSON format, not the XML, anything else.
No, you don't have to really bother about it, because JSON, so Selenium WebDriver itself internally transferring the data between each other using JSON. There is no contribution from your side. You don't have to really bother about whether it's a JSON format or XML format. I'm just letting you know that's how the transfer is done. So in future, if Selenium wants to transfer the data within itself in XML format, that's their call. But as of today, it works in the same format, in the JSON format. Make sense?
Sure.
There is no contribution from your side, ideally. All you have to say is that this is where I have to perform the click. You have to give the location, and you say what action you want to perform, and Selenium will do that for you. How it does it, I showed you the structure, but you don't have to go anything deeper than that. Okay. So then we understand this. Now, next what? Next, let's say, let's understand the jar. I'm not going to do it. I showed you this earlier, first class itself. Installing, configuring Selenium Webdriver, it's done as well. So that part is done. Let's go to the next part, class 7. As a part of this, I did some stuff. Understanding HTML and its basic structure, instantiating WebDriver using Chrome driver, what is a browser console, discussing HTML tags and attributes, how to inspect web elements, creating basic automated tests, right? So no problem. Let's try to understand HTML structure. I showed you in the video, if you have spent the time, you know that you can easily create a HTML page just out of a simple notepad file. In the notepad file, you saw me creating exact same structure and save that file as .html file, and you were able to open it up in the browser. So that's how your HTML is created. But here you have to understand something, that the HTML is created with few things, that is tags and attributes. That's what we are concerned about. We're concerned about tags and attributes. Tags and attributes, right? What are tags? Tags are the HTML, the body, P, A, right? These are tags, right? P means paragraph, A means anchor. And the attributes are the additional information that you add to the tags. Like if you look at it, okay, I just showed you the same thing, but let me open up the browser and show you the attributes. So let's go and say, I'm trying to look for hostel world. And in here, I want to look at the information from this for this particular button, right? So right click on this, do an inspect. So you are basically looking at inspector tool that comes along with any web browser, right? And this inspector tool is what going to let you know, or will give you the information about the element you're trying to interact with. We're trying to interact with let's go button. How do you inspect it? You just click on this inspector and just put it on the button. That's the button, right? And if you look at it closely, this button has got few things to show, right? Number one is the button is a tag. So whatever you use within the angular bracket, that's a button. And the button is ending here, you see? That's how you start a HTML tag and you end a HTML tag. And then between that whole situation, you see there are attributes. So you see ID is an attribute, title is an attribute, class is an attribute, and it has got a value, right? So our motive from test automation perspective is just one thing, that in a page, in this page, there are thousands of information or thousands of components or elements. We, as an automation engineer, all you have to do is you have to focus on finding the respective element that you're trying to deal with uniquely in the page, because you have to understand that there are so many different elements out there. Your challenge would be to find an element uniquely in the page and then perform the action on top of it. Make sense? You have to find the element uniquely in the page. When I'm finding the element uniquely in the page, you cannot deal with, or you cannot only consider the tag information, because you see that there could be 10 different elements in the page that has a tag called button, right? The tag called button. So our goal is this. Our goal is to find the element uniquely in the page. So we will take the help of the tag. We will take the help of the attributes, one or many attributes, to ideally find the element, the same element uniquely in the page. I want to find the element uniquely in the page. So obviously I have to create the locator with tag name and attributes. Now, let's go to the next part. Um, I have actually spoken about dev tools. So whatever different tabs you see here, elements, console, source sets, network, all these tabs, they are having some significance. I don't want to go over it here because I've already given to you in the video. Please watch it. It's very easy to understand. I'm going to go to the next part. Different tabs and dev tools. You please go over it and understand that. Understanding HTML tags, that's where we are concentrating more. You see all these tags, like A is basically for anchor or mean links. Okay. Input is basically for text box. Select is basically for drop downs, right? Different tags you have, and different tags will have different types of attributes. For example, anchor, the anchor tag means the link tag will have an attribute called href. In the href, you give the actual link where you want to redirect. Okay. You want to redirect to, sorry, okay, HTTPS, whatever. You want to redirect to the particular link. That's your href. You cannot give a href link or href attribute to a select tag. Select tag is a drop down. You don't want to click on select tag and then navigate to somewhere else. It will not work. So you have to understand the combination that anchor tag needs href, right? Input tag, like input tag needs an attribute called type. If you say type equals submit, the input tag can work as a button. If you say input type as text, it will be working as a text field. If you make it as password, it will work as a password field, which means it will mask all your information, right? So you have to understand that, but you will understand that when, as in when we keep on, doing multiple assignments, you will automatically understand that because you have to complete it. And when you complete it, you will have to go through all the attributes and the tags, and then you will memorize them very easily. So don't worry about that part. Okay, so let's move on. Understanding HTML attributes. As I told you, a tag works with href. Href works with a tag. Input works with type works with input tag, right? We have some tags or attributes that can work in multiple situations. For example, ID. ID is a attribute that can be added to a anchor tag or to a button tag or to a select tag, anything. Okay. But the point is, what is ID? ID is basically there so that the developers are not creating another value or another element with the same ID. That is basically the purpose of having ID attribute to a web element. But you and me, when we start writing test cases, you will see that not every element will have the ID tag or ID attribute. Not every element will have the ID attribute. Okay. If every element is having ID attribute, then your life will be very easy. You can easily target the ID. ID means is a value which will not change, right? So you can easily target that ID value, and then you can always use the same ID value to perform an action on that particular element, but that will not be the case always. You will see hundreds of elements which will not have ID, and then you have to understand how to use XPath. XPath is a methodology, or it's a structure that I'll show you later on, using which you can find the element uniquely in the page. That's our main motive. right? So how do we find an element, or how do we actually write the program? We do this. We say driver.find element. All right, driver.find element by ID. Send keys is a method. You know what? What I will do is I will explain you this part in a different way. Let me just show you something. This is what will bring me the Chrome driver. I can just do this. I can say Chrome dot get, and in here I can just pass on the right. I want to pass on hostel world, hostelworld.com. This should open my hostelworld.com. That's perfectly fine. And once I open it up, I want to say Chrome dot. You see, as soon as I say Chrome dot, I see that there are hundreds of methods. Methods like find element, right? Let me try to use something called as find element by dot ID, or I think I'll get an ID, and then I want to just perform dot click. Simple. Okay. I am able to write a statement like this. So far, whatever we have covered in Java, you have never seen me writing such a long attached statement. You have seen me using just dot and then accessing a method, but you haven't seen me writing something so big. Let me try to go back to hostel world. Let me try to see. Okay, for example, this button, search button. I want to click this guy. So that's my ID. I want to click this, right? Now you have to understand from Java perspective that how is it possible to write a line like this? How they are connected? How can we connect them? It's very important for you to understand this. So you break it down into pieces. And then let's take a look into it. Let's see if we can figure this out. I broke it down into these pieces. Let's try to understand this. Chrome is Chrome driver object. We all understand that. Chrome driver object. We all understand that. Next, find element. What is find element? Find element is a method that Chrome driver is accessing. Method accessed by Chrome driver object or Chrome object. Chrome object. You can check that when I say Chrome dot, you can see there are so many methods that Chrome can access, right? There's so many methods that Chrome can access. We are accessing find element method. As the name goes, find element is basically to find an element. Find element is a method. When we are dealing with a method, always try to maintain a habit of understanding the method by hovering your mouse on top of find element method. When I see the method find element, we are seeing something. We are seeing that find element method is a part of a class called remote WebDriver. Now, you must be asking me one question, that find element method is a part of remote WebDriver class. If that's the case, then how come Chrome driver is able to access find element? That's a very logical question if you're asking me that. But I will not be able to answer it to you right now, because unless I talk to you about a concept called as inheritance, this discussion about remote WebDriver will not make any sense. But now you can at least understand one thing, that is Chrome driver object is somehow accessing the find element method. When it is accessing the find element method, it is actually asking for a parameter. The parameter is of type by. If you remember our example from perform car wash, you saw me passing the car object to the method start wash, right? Start wash method was accepting a car object. You see, everything is related in Java. Okay, nothing is coming out of thin air. Okay, so you saw me doing this. So same thing here as well. Find element is accepting an object of by class. By is a class, right? So by is a class, and the by class is having a method called as id method, right? id method, you see, by.id is a method. So I'm accessing the method called by.id, and id as a method is accessing the value in a string format. If you hover, it tells you the story. Practice hovering. Okay, you can go to any IDE. Here I'm using Eclipse. You can go to IntelliJ. You will have the same option of hovering and figuring it out what's going on. So you see by.id, id is a method which is a part of by class. So I'm saying by.id, and by id is, this id method is accepting a string object, a string value, right? That's what we have gone did here. Now I want to show you something very important. I'll remove this click. I'll just put a semicolon here. That's the end of the statement. If you look into the find element method one more time, you will see that find element method is accessing or accepting a by object, but at the same time, it is returning back a web element object. Find element method is accepting a by object. At the same time, it is returning back a web element object, right? Like earlier case where we were dealing with test methods, we were saying that this guy was returning back a string of array. Similarly, a find element method returns back a web element object. So whatever is in the front, right, is the return type. Whatever you keep in the front is the return type. How do I prove that? You see, the method ID is returning back a by object, right? Or if I say get method, it returns back a void, means get method returns back nothing. So practice and make it a habit to always hover on top of whatever you are looking at and try to understand the story. If you have a problem, ask me and I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. So Chrome find element by ID. Find element is a method that is returning back a web element object. So I can say web element ELE equals Chrome. I can say that. Nobody will stop me from doing that, right? Because find element method is sending back a web element object. So I'm catching it here. That's all I'm doing, right? So when I do that, I can go to the next line and I can say ELE dot click. So it means the click method is a part of web element class, which is why I'm able to say I'm able to get the click here. Now, if I want to run it, if I want to put it all in the one line, all I did was I said Chrome dot find element by ID search box. And then say dot click. I just deduce this into one line. That's all. That's why I'm able to get the click, because this part over here is pointing to a web element. And then I got the click method. Can you guys give me a shout if you have understood this completely? Some of you guys have already tried to learn Selenium earlier. Can you tell me that, have you ever come across or have you ever thought of the breakdown like this? That why exactly it is happening? Why am I writing this? Have you ever thought of it? Anyone? Shravanti, you have tried to learn Selenium earlier, right?
Oh, yes, Sovik.
Okay. Did you see this type of like? Did you understood why it is happening?
Oh, yes. Like you, I have watched your videos also.
Cool. That's good. That's good. Rita, what about you? Did you get that right? Rita?
Sorry. Yeah. No, that's fine.
It's fine. Good. All right. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Venkat, you're okay also, right?
Yeah, it's okay now. No problem.
Awesome. Good stuff. So then we have got this part. Let's go to the next one. Inspecting element. I showed you how. Just open the Chrome console or whichever browser you're using. Open the console. Use this arrow and put it on the element you want to inspect, and that will tell you the element about, and whatever the element is, it will give you the information. That's the inspection, creating a basic automation scenario. And that's where I have created an automation scenario out of, I think, Hostel World or something like that. By the way, guys, always remember this, that these videos that I'm showing you for your self-learning purpose, they are not going to, I mean, they are 95% exactly same. Guys, you're not in mute. Somebody's not in mute. Shravanti, you're not in mute. Okay, so whatever the methods, whatever the videos I have given you so far, they are 95% right. But you have to understand that I am always using live applications. You will not see me using any dummy simple application, because if I do that, you will not really get the hang of the complex structures, and I don't want that to happen. So I will always teach you over a live application. But when I'm teaching you over a live application, it could be Amazon, it could be Hostel World, it could be rental cars, whatever it is, those applications will change. So meaning whenever I have recorded those videos, whatever the XPaths I have used there, whatever the locators I have used there, the same locator will not be existing right now. It will be changing. The application is not maintained by me, so it will change. So that's where you have to learn how to figure out the XPath. Obviously, I will be helping you. I have multiple different videos to talk about finding XPaths and finding locators, and you have to use those knowledge to find the locator in those applications and then getting it done. Will you be able to show us how to click on login button on WisdomQ website? Sure, absolutely. Andre, for me, actually yesterday it worked. I know that it was a problem from your side though.
I don't understand it works, but you know how it looks after it does the click. I even tried with a double click. It's like when you double click quickly on a folder, and it's like you could change the name of that folder. It's something similar on the login button, but I don't get that window where you have to input your username and your password. So I don't know why, because
No, there are two things. Are you able to click on the login and get the form?
yes, I am, but not when I run it through.
So you're saying that when you're running it, it's not clicking on the login button.
Yes.
Okay. So
Well, I had similar issue. So basically, after the site is being loaded, I just have to put artificial break for a few seconds, and then when click on the button, then the window would open.
yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Actually, for now, that is one of the situation that I have not really spoken about regarding the syncing mechanism. But for now, just let me show you div ID anchor, right? Data test ID. So I'll copy this guy, and let me actually first find this element properly in the page. So Control F, and we'll do anchor with at data test ID. Oh, sorry, my bad. Data test ID. Okay. What is the value? Link element. All of my, okay, there are 24 of them. That is not enough. All right. So I am looking for, okay. Actually, it's a very easy way to do it. Let me actually do this. I have not really spoken about XPath much, so it's quite understandable that you will not be able to do it. But what I'm going to say is text equals what is this happening? Test ID link element. Okay, and then at the same time, text equals login, log in, right? Do I have the text here? I don't have the text here. Log in. I can do one more thing instead of this. I'll just say span. That's one. And I'll just say I'm looking for the anchor /dot, right? So that's my guy. Okay, that's the guy I want to click. Copy. That's a unique element. I took the element from, I made the element out of the text login. So let us just comment this out and then just say chrome dot get, sorry, chrome dot find element by XPath. So I'm using an XPath. What I built there is a XPath, and I just say dot click, right? And there are a few things that I have to add in. Why I have to add in, I'll talk about this later on when I talk about syncing mechanism. But always make sure to do this. Say chrome dot manage dot timeout dot implicit wait 30 seconds time unit dot seconds, right? This is a simple configuration that I'm adding here, and this is basically my wisdomqa.com, right? That's that, and I have done this, and then let's try to run, and let's see if this works. Selenium test. Let me do one thing. It stopped it. Let me do one thing. Let me actually make one more change. Chrome dot manage dot window dot maximize. Right. Let's try and run this one more time. I see it is, I mean, it is coming in here, but why the click is not happening?
It was the
Shavik,
same for me.
I think it's same with everyone. If I tried 3-4 times, like if you try twice, after 2 times it will click after on third time. So
Let
it's
me,
clicking actually, but
yeah,
it's taking time. Like first 2 times it doesn't.
let me do this. Let me just do this. I added a extra gap of 2 seconds. Let's see. That's it. Again, let's do it. So this gap is something, a breather I'm giving. There could be a better way of doing this using explicit wait. I have not spoken about that yet, so I cannot show it to you, but let us try to run this with whatever thread.sleep I created, added. Let's see again. Come on. What happened with this now? Okay, it's saying WebDriver exception cannot determine loading status. Yeah, something wrong. Let's run again. Okay. All right. Again. Yep. I think that breather of 2 seconds is what is making the difference. After I am launching the application, I'm just waiting for it for 2 seconds, and then I'm performing a click, and that's where it works. But there could be a better way of hard coding the sleep. I'm trying to sleep, and I'm trying to perform a sleep, meaning there's 2 seconds, Java will just be at pause. It's nothing to do with Selenium, by the way. This thread.sleep is not coming out of Selenium. How do you know that? Hover. Java lang thread, nothing to do with Selenium, right? So you're just pausing it, like breaking up for 2 seconds and then trying it. So that worked. That is working fine. Okay, so that is the end of today's class. And for next,
Shavik,
go on.
sorry, would you mind? Like, I added like thread as well now, but it's same story. It's taking time.
Did you add this guy?
Yeah, let me check again. Yeah. Click. Yep. Let me run again, maybe.
Yeah, and give maybe 5 seconds. It could be because thread.sleep is not a intelligent method. It's just pausing for 2 seconds. For you, it could be taking 4 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah, it's working now. Like, yeah, it's working now.
No problem. That's cool.
Thanks.
No problem at all. So for next week, what are we doing? Things are getting more complicated and interesting. So next week, we are talking about Java a bit. learning about if else, switch case, access specifier, inheritance, and constructor. Constructor is very, very important lesson. Overriding constructor, understanding constructor, overloading, overriding, runtime polymorphism. Again, very important. Locator strategies, absolute and relative XPath. Very important. The three of them are very, very important to learn. The first two of them is with Java. Third one is with WebDriver perspective. Not WebDriver, but from XPath locator perspective is important. So I will enable it to you after the class, and please go through it. Ask me questions. Ask me questions sooner than later. Middle of the week, please ask me questions so that we can have more time to discuss and sort out your problem. Try to book calls with Gagan as well. By the way, any of you guys, did you guys manage to talk to Gagan in the meantime in last 2 weeks? Anyone?
No, I haven't.
I haven't,
Okay.
but I have a session on Tuesday.
Okay. You have a call on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. Who else? Okay. Please use that feature because, you know, it will definitely help you to take out of your roadblocks. So please try to do that. Okay, that's pretty much about it for today. I will enable this part by end of the day. I'll upload. Okay, my bad, very, very bad. Let me do something right now so that I don't miss it. Let me go to Wisdom QA classes and July 2021 assignments. I should have done this earlier. So solutions, right? I'm going to upload the solution right now for week 1 and week 2. I want you guys to quickly go through the solutions. Ask me questions if you have any question regarding the solution the way I have implemented it, and then we can discuss about it next week in the call. And yeah, that's the end of the class for today. By the way, guys, we have finished 2 weeks. I would like to understand your feedback. How do you think we are doing? Are you guys seeing some difference between from the day 1 you started, and we are just entering week 3 now? So what do you think? Do you want to give me some feedback, or how it is? Andre, what do you think? I think you are starting programming for the first time, I believe. Or
Yeah.
what do you think? Is it feeling better this time, or you're still feeling it hard, or how it is?
It's I don't know. I mean, not that it's easier, but it's easier to understand, I guess, from like the other times when I try to learn. And I don't know, I just like in the first week I thought there were like too many exercises and too many like the assignments, but now I feel like I could maybe or maybe that I would like to have more to like exercise, like even what we explained today with the objects and the classes. I think that's the only way. So I'll just have to like find more exercises to practice. Like,
okay,
because otherwise I think like if I just I have time as well, so I don't work at the moment, so I spend a lot of time, like more than 10 or 20 hours. So I think like if I keep practice, it would be like easier than if I just do like the assignments that you give us and then that's it. I'll just because I can do everything in like 2 days and then I can just wait until Saturday. But I like every day I try to, I don't know, do something extra.
right, exactly. But when you're trying to do extra stuff, or when you're trying to do assignments, are you facing the roadblocks, or are you thinking that it's not doable, or are you thinking that this is the part I'm getting lost with?
I find like it doesn't take me long to find something if I hit a roadblock on, like, if I just search on Google for a solution. But for example, this one with the click on the login button, I don't know, it just like it drove me crazy a bit, because I tried like multiple solutions that I found online, and I didn't manage to get it to work on the Wisdom QA website, but then I managed to get it to work on other websites, and then I thought, I don't know, maybe it's something wrong with the site. So but yeah, I don't know. I can say I enjoy it at the moment.
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. How about Peter? Peter, you're also trying for the first time the programming, I believe. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more comfortable, but sometimes I'll have to go back over the presentation to digest what was
Okay.
given.
Okay. The presentations and the explanations that I'm doing in the live class are they understandable? Like, when I'm saying understandable, for example, you are understanding it in the class and you're saying it's okay. But when you are going back to your screen and trying to implement that, that's where, all the problems starts appearing. So when that happens, are you able to make your way out of it?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Okay. Venkat, what about you?
Yeah, so it looks okay, and I'm trying to figure out by seeing all your videos and trying to keep all the folders in the Eclipse, and I am breaking all the videos by class by class. So, and I am having sometimes the issues, but by doing a debugging tool, and I'm over it everything, and I'm understanding that the code what is saying, and trying to change the data and trying to change some strings arrays. So, and then I'm okay with that, and I can see the end result. And yeah, it's completely very good by following your videos, and as you said, it's breaking part by part, and section by section. It looks okay, and yeah, it is so much interesting to work on these automation tools.
Very good. Okay. Is there anything that I can do from my side to make it better for you guys?
As I can see on the live classes, you are giving a different data, and you are giving different kind of examples that helps anyway. So when you are watching the previous videos you are posted, and the live class is different data you're using, so that makes a lot of help anyway.
Okay, perfect. That's good. Okay, what about Ashwin? Ashwin, how are things?
Hi, Shovik. Yeah, so far so good. The only roadblock I faced was with the last assignment. And yeah, I could pretty much solve it after seeing the today's class. So I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, guys. So I'm open for any suggestion that you have in your mind, and please let me know if you want to talk to me, if you want to put in the channel, just let me know, and we can. I'll try my level best to implement that and help you out any way I can. So that's good then. So I'll enable this as soon as the class is over, the week 3 classes, and then let's meet next week. All right.
Thank you very much, Shovik.
All right. Thank you very much, Shovik.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, Sovik.
Just bye. Cheers. Bye.